It's no secret that NFL stars don't get paid as well as their NBA counterparts. It helps that there are fewer players in the NBA and, with no helmets, the league's stars are extremely recognizable and marketable. Also, NBA players have fully guaranteed contracts unlike NFL players due to differences in the league's respective collective bargaining agreements. To understand exactly how big of a pay gap there is between the two leagues, HoopsHype looked at how much NFL stars make and found their NBA comparison. Disclaimer: HoopsHype has access to NBA salaries, but it's harder to find accurate NFL figures. These NFL salaries are according to Spitrack, and we've only included the guaranteed portion of each contract. The NFL players listed below may earn more depending on their deals, incentives, and other factors. Tom Brady's salary, $27 million, fifth in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, DeMar DeRozan's $27,739,975, 16th in the league. DeMar DeRozan has been a bona fide all-star for several years now, but he has never been selected to an All-NBA first team, and he's not one of the league's top-tier stars. Despite being 41 years old, Brady continues to produce as one of the NFL's best quarterbacks, and he just won his 6th Super Bowl. DeRozan is a solid player, but Brady is widely regarded as one of the greatest players in the history of his sport. He could earn more than DeRozan depending on his incentives and how his deal is structured, and he obviously makes bank with endorsements, but he's guaranteed less of his salary than the 29-year-old shooting guard. Also, consider this: Brady's guaranteed salary is relatively close to what Otto Porter, $26,011,913, will earn this season. Antonio Brown's salary, $15,125,000, 51st in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Gorgui Dieng's $15,170,787, 78th in the league. Brown has been consistently unstoppable, setting NFL records for most receiving yards in a 6-year span, 9,145, and most catches in a 6-year span, 686. Even at 30 years old, he is still arguably the best wide receiver in the league. Last year, Brown led all players in receiving touchdowns, 15, and he topped 1,200 yards for the 6th straight year. Brown's messy breakup from the Pittsburgh Steelers was largely due to him feeling underpaid, so it's no surprise that his NBA comparison is a role player. Dieng benefited from hitting free agency when the cap spiked in the summer of 2016. This season, he has averaged 5.5 points and 3.9 rebounds in 12.6 minutes off the bench for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Saquon Barkley's salary, $7,089,716, 229th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Lance Thomas's $7,119,650, 174th in the NBA. Both players are on New York teams, as Barkley stars for the Giants and Thomas is a seldom-used role player for the Knicks. Thomas has appeared in just 40 games this season, averaging 4.2 points and 2.4 rebounds in 16.2 minutes per game. Barkley was the No. 2 overall pick in last year's NFL draft and was extremely productive this year, leading the NFL in all-purpose yards, 2,028, and scoring the 3rd most total touchdowns, 15. Keep in mind that this was Barkley's rookie salary, so he should get a bigger payday at some point down the road, but this comparison still has to be somewhat frustrating for Barkley. Odell Beckham Jr. salary, $21 million, 15th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Victor Oladipo's $21 million, 43rd in the NBA. This is probably one of the closest comparisons on this list. Not only do Beckham and Oladipo make the same exact amount of guaranteed money, they are also both 26-year-olds who are viewed as elite talents at their position, and they were both shockingly traded by the team that selected them early in the first round. Beckham, who is a 3-time Pro Bowler and 2-time All-Pro selection, is one of the NFL's most exciting wide receivers, and he's expected to have a huge year after landing in a loaded Cleveland Browns offense that's led by 2018 No. 1 overall pick Baker Mayfield. Oladipo made his second straight All-Star team this year and he was an All-NBA selection last year, although he's currently recovering from a ruptured quad tendon in his right knee. It is worth noting that Oladipo inked his deal in 2016 when he was still with the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2016, so prior to breaking out. If his recent play is any indication, his next deal, which he can sign in 2021, will be much more lucrative. Drew Brees' salary, $33,500,000, first in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Blake Griffin's $31,873,932, fifth in the NBA. Brees is the highest paid player in the NFL, which makes sense since he's one of the best quarterbacks in league history. Even at 40 years old, he just finished as the runner-up in most valuable player voting, behind only Patrick Mahomes, after ranking first in the NFL in passer rating, 115.7, and game-winning drives, 7, while also throwing the sixth most touchdowns, 32, last season. Brees now holds the NFL record for most career passing yards, 74,437, and most career completions, 6,587. If Brees were in the NBA, he'd still be the fifth highest player in the league, behind only Stephen Curry, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul and LeBron James. He should feel good about his comparison to Griffin, who is in the prime of his career and in the midst of a monster year with the Detroit Pistons. Aaron Donald's salary, $17,108,000, 30th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Reggie Jackson's $17,043,478, 65th in the NBA. Donald is widely regarded as one of the most impactful players in the NFL, and he's a huge reason for the Los Angeles Rams' breakout success. He's virtually unstoppable as a pass rusher, and he's now won the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year award in back-to-back seasons. His 20.5 sacks easily ranked first in the NFL, as no other defender recorded more than 16. Donald also led the league in tackles for a loss, 25, and forced the sixth most fumbles, 4. Meanwhile, Jackson is a decent starter who averages 15.5 points and 4.2 assists per game for the Detroit Pistons. He's relatively inefficient, shooting just 42.7% from the field this season, and 43.0% for his career. While Donald steadily dominates offensive lines, Jackson is an inconsistent role player who is somewhat polarizing. Ezekiel Elliott's salary, $7,940,655, 202nd in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, PJ Tucker's $7,959,537, 163rd in the NBA. The Dallas Cowboys rely heavily on Elliott, handing the ball off to him 304 times last season, which was more than any other player in the league. He also led the NFL in total rushing yards, 1,434, and rushing yards per game, 95.6, and neither race was particularly close. The next highest backs had 1,307 yards and 89.4 yards per game, respectively. The fact that Elliott only played in 15 games last season makes these numbers even more impressive. The 23-year-old is earning his salary and putting a lot of miles on his body, so hopefully he'll take home more money after reaching certain incentives in his contract. Meanwhile, Tucker is starter and key contributor for the contending Houston Rockets, but he's a supporting cast type, whereas Elliott is one of the NFL's most productive skill players. Elliott also earned less than seldom-used players like Cristiano Felicio, $8,470,980, and Jared Bayless, $8,575,916. Todd Gurley's salary, $9,200,000, 162nd in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Markieff Morris's $9,173,294, 144th in the NBA last season. Gurley easily led the NFL in total touchdowns, 21, finishing with 3 more than the runner-up despite playing in just 14 of 16 games. He also ranked first in rushing touchdowns, 17, second in rushing yards per game, 89.4, third in rushing yards, 1,251, and fourth in total yards from scrimmage, 1,831. He was one of the most impactful offensive players in the league, and he's still just 24 years old. Morris is a solid power forward who has averaged 11.7 points and 5.5 rebounds over the course of his 8 years in the league. He's currently on his fourth team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, where he's averaging 6.5 points and 3.7 rebounds as a reserve while working his way back from a neck injury. While Morris's salary may be the closest, it's worth noting that Gurley makes less than Jared Dudley, $9,530,000, Matthew Dellavedova, $9,607,500, and John Lure, $10,002,681. Keep in mind, this comes after signing a contract extension last year that made him the highest-paid running back in NFL history in terms of his per-year average and the deal's total guarantees. Tyreek Hill's salary, $2,042,500, 576th in the NFL comparable NBA salary. Jared Allen's $2,034,120, 334th in the NBA. Hill is a three-time Pro Bowler who has been one of the NFL's most productive wide receivers. He ranked first in the NFL in yards per touch, 15.0, fourth in all-purpose yards, 1,843, fourth in receiving yards, 1,479, fourth in receiving touchdowns, 12, fourth in yards per reception, 17.0, fourth in receiving yards per game, 92.4, and fifth in total touchdowns, 14. He's about to enter the final season of his rookie contract, and he's only making $2,042,500 because he was a fifth-round pick. Allen is in the midst of a breakout sophomore campaign for the Brooklyn Nets, and he's now underpaid due to his draft slot. No. 22, as well. There was a report that the Kansas City Chiefs seem poised to offer Hill a record-setting deal, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. However, it remains to be seen what will happen next, since police are now investigating a child battery incident that occurred at Hill's home. While Hill isn't in the police report, his fiancée is mentioned, and their 3-year-old son reportedly broke his arm. DeAndre Hopkins' salary, $14 million, 70th in the NFL comparable NBA salary. Taj Gibson's $14 million, 88th in the NBA. Hopkins has been one of the NFL's most consistent receivers in recent years, and he's taken his game to the next level now that the Houston Texans have a talented quarterback in Deshaun Watson. Last season, Hopkins ranked second in the NFL in receiving yards, 1,572, second in receiving yards per game, 98.3, third in receptions, 115, and fifth in receiving touchdowns, 11. He made his third Pro Bowl and was named to his third All-Pro team. Keep in mind, when Hopkins signed his current contract in 2017, it was a record-setting deal, since $49 million over 5 years was the most guaranteed money ever given to a wide receiver in NFL history. Hopkins' NBA comparison is Gibson, who has put together a solid career as a scrappy power forward. However, he's a role player who's averaging 10.8 points and 6.5 rebounds for the Minnesota Timberwolves this season. Based on their production, Hopkins and Gibson shouldn't be bringing home the same guaranteed salary. Hopkins is earning less than Marvin Williams, $14,087,500, Luol Deng, $14,354,067, and Brandon Knight, $14,631,250. Alvin Kamara's salary, $1,050,693, 726th in the NFL comparable NBA salary. Melvin Frazier's $1,050,000, 439th in the NBA. Kamara is one of the biggest bargains in the NFL since the New Orleans Saints selected him in the third round of the 2017 NFL Draft. The 23-year-old became the first player in NFL history to record 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 rushing yards in his first 20 career games. Last season, he ranked second in the league in total touchdowns, 18, and sixth in all-purpose yards, 1,800. He made the Pro Bowl in each of his first 2 seasons in the league, and he should only be more productive going forward, since he'll no longer be splitting carries with Mark Ingram in the Saints' backfield. In the NBA, Kamara would be one of the lowest-paid roster players. He's earning only slightly more than Frazier, who has averaged just 1.4 points in 9 games for the Orlando Magic this season. Kamara is one of the NFL's top stars, but his guaranteed salary is comparable to most end-of-bench NBA players. Travis Kelce's salary, $10,718,400, 128th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Mo Harkless $10,837,079, 124th in the NBA. Kelce is one of those elite tight ends who is just as productive as the league's top receivers, as he ranked 5th among all players in yards per touch, 13.0, 6th in receiving touchdowns, 10th in receiving yards, 1,336, and 10th in receptions, 103. He was a huge part of the Kansas City Chiefs' juggernaut offense, and he's now been selected to 4 Pro Bowls and 3 All-Pro teams. He's one of the few players on this list whose salary ranking in the NFL, 128, is very close to what it'd be in the NBA, 124th. Kelce's NBA comparison is Harkless, who's a solid two-way contributor for the Portland Trail Blazers that is averaging 7.2 points, 4.2 rebounds and 1.1 steals this season. Harkless inked his big deal with the Blazers during the summer of 2016, when the cap increased due to the NBA's new TV deal. Luke Kuechly salary, $17,202,573, 27th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Tim Hardaway Jr. $17,325,000, 64th in the NBA. Kuechly makes his presence felt all over the field, serving as the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers defense. He's easily one of the best linebackers in the NFL, and he's now been selected to 6 Pro Bowls and 5 All-Pro teams. He's a former Defensive Player of the Year who's coming off a season in which he ranked 3rd in the NFL in tackles for a loss, 20, and 6th in solo tackles, 93. Hardaway Jr. is another player who signed his big contract in the summer of 2016. Hardaway Jr. is a solid contributor who was averaging 18.1 points per game prior to suffering a season-ending left tibia injury. But unlike Kuechly, Hardaway Jr. isn't a star. In fact, he's now on his 3rd team after the New York Knicks dealt him the Dallas Mavericks as part of the Kristaps Porzingis trade. Andrew Luck's salary, $27,525,000, 4th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, DeMar DeRozan's $27,739,975, 16th in the NBA. While Luck is the 4th highest paid player in the NFL, he wouldn't even crack the top 16 in the NBA. He is a 4-time Pro Bowler, but injuries have limited him since he entered the NFL as the number 1 overall pick in the 2012 draft. He signed a 6-year extension with the Indianapolis Colts in 2016 that made him the highest-paid player in the NFL at the time. However, he underwent surgery on his right shoulder later that year and was then forced to miss the entire 2017 season. Luck managed to return last season, and he had a really strong campaign. In fact, he was named the NFL's Comeback Player of the Year after throwing the 2nd most touchdowns, 39, and 5th most passing yards, 4,593, in the league. Hopefully, Luck can resume his promising career without any health concerns. The comparison to DeRozan isn't too far off. When Luck is at his best, he's extremely productive and can help a team win a lot of games, even going as deep as the conference championship in 2014. However, he hasn't managed to reach that top tier yet, such as making an All-Pro team. Khalil Mack's salary, $22,300,000, 16th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, LaMarcus Aldridge's $22,347,015, 39th in the NBA. Prior to the start of last season, Mack dominated headlines because the Oakland Raiders traded him to the Chicago Bears instead of paying him. The Bears, and other teams, were happy to part with a bunch of draft picks and give Mack the large extension he was seeking. In fact, they made him the highest-paid defensive player in NFL history, with $90 million in guaranteed salary over 6 years. That's where this $22.3 million salary comes from, and Mack has been worth every penny. Chicago has arguably the best defense in the NFL, and they increased their win total from 5 to 12 last season. Football Reference has a metric called approximate value that measures a player's impact to their team, and Mack was ranked 6th among all NFL players. His closest NBA comparison, Aldridge, is a perennial all-star who is having a very good season for the San Antonio Spurs. Reigning Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert, $22,741,573, earns slightly more, but he is perhaps a better overall comparison since he also has the ability to wreak havoc on defense and single-handedly alter a team's offensive game plan. Patrick Mahomes' salary, $4,479,776, 342nd in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Justin Holiday's $4,500,000, 223rd in the NBA. Mahomes convincingly won the NFL's 2018 Most Valuable Player award after leading the league in touchdown passes, 50, touchdown percentage, 8.6, quarterback rating, 82.0, and adjusted yards per pass attempt, 9.6. He took the NFL by storm in his first year as a starter. Football Reference's approximate value metric rated Mahomes as the most impactful player in the NFL, and ranked his season as one of the most productive of all time. The 23-year-old is still on his rookie deal, but all signs point to him getting a massive contract extension as soon as the Kansas City Chiefs can offer him one. Because he's on his rookie, his NBA comparison is Holiday, who is a decent contributor that was traded from the Chicago Bulls to the Memphis Grizzlies last month. Mahomes is also earning less than Alexis Ajinka, $5,285,394, Jason Smith, $5,450,000, and Patrick Patterson, $5,451,600. Von Miller's salary, $25,125,000, 9th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Bradley Beal's $25,434,262, 25th in the NBA. Miller is the 9th highest paid player in football, but he wouldn't crack the top 25 in basketball. However, Miller is in good company when looking at his NBA counterparts. Beal is the closest salary-wise, but the best comps may actually be Anthony Davis, $25,434,263, Joel Embiid, $25,467,250, and Nikola Jokic, $25,467,250, because they're making just a bit more, but are similar to Miller in terms of being elite players who are capable of absolutely dominating games. The former Super Bowl MVP remains a monster on defense. He's now been named to 7 Pro Bowls and 7 All-Pro teams. Last season, Miller ranked 4th in the NFL in sacks, 14.5, and 6th in fumbles forced, 4. Jalen Ramsey's salary, $7,429,865, 213th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Lonzo Ball's $7,461,960, 169th in the NBA. Ramsey is widely regarded as one of the league's best up-and-coming defenders. The 24-year-old has racked up 193 tackles, 9 interceptions and 44 passes defended over his first 3 NFL seasons. The cornerback, like his NBA comparison, Ball, is still on his rookie contract. He has next season and then a 5th-year option remaining on his rookie deal before he'll want the Jacksonville Jaguars to make him one of the highest-paid cornerbacks in NFL history, which has led to some rumors that the team may trade him before then. Last year, the Jaguars won just 5 games after entering the season with championship aspirations. As for Ball, he is a decent comparison since he's also an up-and-coming talent who has taken the league by storm and made headlines on and off the court. While Ball hasn't been as productive as Ramsey, he's shown flashes of brilliance, and his importance to the Los Angeles Lakers was on display when the team struggled mightily after he was sidelined with an ankle injury. Philip Rivers' salary, $23 million, 13th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Kawhi Leonard's $23,114,066, 36th in the NBA. Rivers is still an excellent quarterback, as evidenced by the fact that he ranked 5th in passer rating, 105.5, 6th in passing touchdowns, 32, and 8th in passing yards, 4,308, last season. However, at 37 years old, his prime is behind him. At some point soon, the Los Angeles Chargers will need to find their quarterback of the future. This might be the first instance on this list where the NBA player is actually the more productive of the two. Leonard has been tremendous on both ends of the floor this season for the Toronto Raptors, who are a legitimate Eastern Conference contender. Leonard is in the final year of his contract and then he'll ink a much larger deal this offseason when he'll be one of the top unrestricted free agents on the market. Aaron Rodgers' salary, $26,500,000, 7th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Drew Holiday's $26,386,111, 18th in the NBA. Last season, Rodgers ranked 1st in the NFL in pass interception percentage, .3, 4th in comeback wins, 3, 6th in passing yards, 4,442, 6th in total offensive yards, 4,358, and 9th in passing yards per game, 277.6. His 25 passing touchdowns were a bit low for him, considering he threw an NFL-high 40 touchdowns just 2 years ago, but he only threw a pair of interceptions all season. Still, Rodgers is a two-time most valuable player, former Super Bowl MVP, 7-time Pro Bowler and 3-time All-Pro selection. Holiday has made one All-Star team, and while he's an excellent two-way player for the New Orleans Pelicans, he's not typically regarded as a star. With that said, the 28-year-old deserves credit for filling the stat sheet this year, averaging 21.2 points, a career-high, 7.7 assists, 5.0 rebounds and 1.6 steals. Adam Thielen's salary, $8,100,000, 196th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, DeAndre Ayton's $8,175,840, 160th in the NBA. Thielen is one of the NFL's best stories, going from an undrafted free agent in 2013 to one of the most productive wide receivers in the NFL for his hometown Minnesota Vikings, his childhood favorite team. He's now a two-time Pro Bowler and one-time All-Pro selection. Last season, Thielen ranked 4th in the NFL in receptions, 113, 9th in receiving yards, 1,373, 10th in receiving touchdowns, 9, and 10th in yards per touch, 11.9. Ayton, the No. 1 overall pick in this year's draft, is having a productive year for the Phoenix Suns, averaging 16.5 points and 10.3 rebounds while showing tremendous upside. Other NBA players in this pay range include Lou Williams, $8 million, and Garrett Temple, $8 million. Michael Thomas' salary, $2 million, 598th in the NFL. Comparable NBA salary, Torrey Craig's $2 million, 337th in the NBA. The New Orleans Saints may have the biggest bargain in the NFL in Alvin Kamara and the second biggest bargain in Thomas, who is also still on his rookie deal. The 26-year-old wide receiver is paid like many end-of-bench NBA players, yet he's unquestionable.